Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. Today is Thursday. Johnny Litecoin is out and about, saving the world, taking care of bad guys. So it's just little old me today, but there's so much going on that I wanted to go over some news and make sure that I check in with everybody in the live chat. So if you are here in the live chat, please give me a like, share the video, and make a comment so I can see your smiling face. We'll be right back right after this. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I wanted to jump in and kind of give an update on a couple different things. There's everything from a hack that has been going, a cyber hack that's been going on for the last 2 weeks here in the US, to a big threat for the UK in the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll look at that. There's been hearings going on in Congress, in the Finance Committee, that have not really been covered very well. We talked about a little bit on World Blockchain Roundtable today. So if you guys didn't watch that, you can go watch it on the Dragon Chain YouTube channel. We had a great discussion on it. We talked about blockchain and healthcare today, which is near and dear to my heart. And I thought about all the times that could have been really helpful, dealing with Mia's health, and even when my dad was older and was, in and out of the hospital, and just keeping track of records, all that kind of stuff. And even with some of my kiddos now. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Good to see all of you in the chat. So I wanted to jump in. I'm just going to kind of roll through my Twitter feed real quick, and I'll jump into our Telegram group as well. If you're not a part of the Telegram group, make sure you join Telegram. It's a great way to connect with us and the community. And also join my Patreon. That's a way that you can message me directly and connect with me on that. So this was a great, this is, if you guys haven't heard of this, Promethium is, a lot of people are talking about it, that it could be like a SEC or some other 3-letter agency kind of PSYOP thing, some kind of inside thing. Apparently they're like the golden boy SEC, showing that, like, oh, it is possible for them to go through the process and, become approved through the SEC crypto here in the US through this process. And during these hearings, they call them out for being funded by the CCP. This Aaron, their CEO, Aaron, goes and speaks in China on some blockchain thing. But they do call them out for their funding as well. This also, they talk about how, can you trade Bitcoin and Ethereum on your Promethium? And he's like, no, you can't. And he's just obviously parroting everything that he's been told to say. So this guy is a great guy. This is U.S. Representative Mike Flood, and he's really calling the guy out. I'm just going to play, I won't play the whole 4 minutes, but we'll play just parts of it.
20 special purpose broker-dealer framework, quote, the definition of a digital asset security as used in the proposal is a digital asset that meets the definition of a security under the federal securities laws. This definition puts a burden on the industry to determine which digital assets are securities. As a result, we believe the clarity is needed to understand the regulatory framework they must comply with, end quote. That was in a letter dated April 26 from Promethium, specifically signed by Benjamin S. Kaplan, co-CEO of the company. I offer this into the record without objection. This concern, which Promethium themselves raised in 2020, probably sounds familiar for those who track this committee closely. It is the exact same concern we've heard from witnesses in front of this committee before. How can a broker-dealer register if they don't know which assets are a security and which are not? Further, it makes the same argument that other firms have made, that the lack of clarity from the SEC puts an undue burden on the industry. Mr. Kaplan, in your testimony, you were very confident that no new legislation is needed in the digital asset space to clarify this question. What has changed between the date of this letter in 2021 and when your firm called for clarity, and now? What has changed?
Over the 2+ years since that time, there's been additional enforcement actions and statement by the SECs, which have clarified any questions that we had in regards to designation of a digital asset as a security.
Mr. Kaplan, Promethium's website says that Promethium ATS supports, quote, many tokens that mostly trade on crypto exchanges, end quote. I'd like to dig in on that just a little bit. Can Promethium customers trade in Ether? If your answer is yes, please explain how.
Not currently.
Can Promethium customers trade in Bitcoin? If your answer is yes, please explain how.
No.
Just for the audience at home's benefit, Ether and Bitcoin make up more than 60% of the digital asset market. Mr. Kaplan, given that either Ether and Bitcoin make up more than 60% of the digital asset market, if the current system is working, why can't your customers trade the most popular and widely used digital assets?
Regulation and new ATSs and custodians should take a crawl, walk, run approach, and essentially they will proceed to add additional assets and abilities as time goes on. I'd like to point out when the...
I'm going to reclaim my time. Mr. Kaplan, did Promethium receive any additional exemptive relief from the SEC that has not been publicly shared?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Kaplan. Promethium's special purpose broker-dealer license does not address the core issue. There is not a consistent definition of a digital asset security within current law. This point was made obvious when Chair Gensler could not say definitively whether Ether is a digital asset security when asked by Chairman McHenry in this very room a couple months ago. In other words, that same question that Promethium themselves raised in their 2021 comment letter is still unanswered. That's why legislation is needed. That's the problem that the chairman's bill works to solve. To testify in front of our committee that your company's charter, which only allows for trading in a very small subset of assets, is evidence that no legislation is needed, just doesn't make sense. If anything, the fact that Promethium's customers cannot trade some of the most popular digital assets is an illustration of the broader problem, Mr. Kaplan. I yield back.
Hold on, I'm getting the Telegram group link. I'm sorry, I didn't put it in the details of the, oops, I didn't do all my things today. Sorry, I kind of was thrown off. I was expecting to have Johnny join me, but he had something come up. So, okay, you might have to refresh. I just added it to the description in the video below. Wow, what tab am I on? I'm all over the place. Anyway, so this Promethium is like out of the blue. Check this out. They're like, okay, let me make sure you guys are seeing this. Yes, they have 1,300 or 1,900 followers. Like, who are these people? They're just out of the blue, but they're the one exchange that is the golden boy of the SEC. Like I said, they did admit to having funding from the CCP in another hearing. It's incredible. So I think this is just all part of the show once again. So watch out for this, you guys, and check into more of this. Let's see, let's go back and what else were we talking about today? Let's see. This was where this thing where it has that guy's Aaron Kaplan speaking at this Shanghai International Blockchain Week. And it shows his name right here and him speaking at that. This was very interesting. So the Coinbase thing and the Gensler thing, and they keep dragging Ethereum into it. And there's these conversations with his finance committee, and the Hinman emails being exposed. And the Hinman emails have come out. There's several threads with them. I shared the file in the Telegram group. I'll go back and find it and pin it so it's easier to find, because we have lots of friends that share lots of information in there, but so that you can read all of the emails if you choose to. But it's like, why do they keep dragging this Ethereum in there? Why do they keep dragging Ethereum in there? It's like, in all the conversations, it's like, well, does this sound good? And, there's one conversation that that they have with like their lawyer groups and Hinman, and he's like, you shouldn't say it's out and out, not a security. You should be more like kind of soft on it, kind of like you were when you were talking about Bitcoin, so that you're kind of talking about it the same way. So you can see that they want that ambiguity in all of it. They want this uncertainty all around it. This is very interesting as well. And so the same with that Promethium and the CCP links or ties that are alleged. There is some alleged possible CCP ties with Vitalik, which this is the first I've heard of this today, but somebody pulled this up today. You guys, I'm going to turn the volume off of it so I don't get dinged, but you can kind of read through it. They say, why is Vitalik Buterin known as the V God in China? Then it goes on to talk about early Ethereum backers coming out of China, chief scientists. Wait a minute, this is moving really fast. Here's one talking about meeting with Garlinghouse, Ripple Technology, blah, 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 chairmans. Towards the end of Garlinghouse briefly noticed that Ripple was in purgatory due to uncertainty as the cryptocurrencies which Ripple associated is or is not a security. In response, Clayton immediately stated that the meeting was not in the proper forum for or about that topic. He then asked Garlinghouse to, quote, back up from that issue and steered the meeting back to a discussion about Ripple's business and technology. Following further discussions from those issues, the meeting concluded with Clayton encouraging Ripple executives to continue its ongoing discussions. I don't know why they brought that into it, but they're I don't know why he tied Garlinghouse in this one. They were tying Buterin to like China in this video though earlier. There's another one. China ranks Ethereum as number 1 blockchain, Bitcoin number 13. That's way too small. I can't even read that other part. Cryptocurrency expert arrested for giving talk in North Korea about avoiding sanctions. Vladimir Putin and Vitalik discuss Ethereum opportunities. That's really weird. Hey, thanks for joining Telegram, Mark. I just saw that you joined. It's ironic that Ethereum, and I think Letha joined too, so thanks for joining. Ethereum, Joseph, and I had a roomie in college that created a company called DAO Labs that has nothing to do with blockchain. It's a Chinese medicine company with an awesome product, and I'm an investor. This is Novogratz. JP Morgan fined for hiring kids out of China's elite to win business. Ooh, that sounds like FTX. Using kids to, and it sounds like a little like a Joe and Hunter. China ranks Ethereum as the world's best blockchain network. Oh, we're back to that, right? We already saw that part. Ethereum founder strikes a deal with Russian Development Bank. I mean, this video has all kinds of weird stuff. Here's more China, Citigroup. Well, I can't read that one either. Some of these are like way too small. I've got to make Vitalik Buterin. Oh, okay. Here's another Dow, Ethereum. They go back to the China thing. Asia's biggest venture. China scientists at Wangjing something. So they are looping this all around, somehow alluding to that having to do with each other. I do not know what that is. But I think it's interesting that they're tying so much of this stuff with China. And I'm sure you guys have heard the BlackRock ETF is announced, or they've applied for ETF with the SEC. And, since they run the world, most likely they will get that approved. Looks like Hillary's got competition. There is the Burisma energy accountant who blew the whistle on Biden's bribery scheme has been found non-responsive, I guess you would say. So that's concerning. Here's Joe talking about the election where he won.
Secondly, we're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
There you go. One of the most honest things I think he's ever said. This is really interesting with, so the movie The Sound of Freedom is coming out on the 4th of July. And that is going to be the Marine, is it Tim Draper? Or am I getting a billionaire's name confused with a Marine? I can't remember. I'm sorry if I am. But the guy that's rescuing children, that life story, or the story of that, is coming out on July 4th with the Save Our Children group. And this report about trafficking persons report is coming out to end human trafficking. So this is, I hope, a really good thing. I hope this is a honest thing. I hope this is more of the white hats in control kind of thought and truth. Starbucks has to pay a white woman $25 million because they fired her because she was white. I do not know what's going on there, but the Biden regime cannot find thousands of children that have been lost and sold into slavery, I guess, with them being coming over through migration, and they have been lost coming over the border, and it's devastating. So they should be held accountable for all of that. Trump says thank you to everybody. This is going to be really interesting. They are holding an oversight committee to see what civil liberties were stepped on, violated during the Great Infection. So that's to be held. The FBI deputy director admitted the agency hid information about the Biden bribery recordings. I'm really anxious to hear there's 17 recordings. It's my understanding, and so hopefully those will come out soon. Westwood's going to be giving out some Litecoin for new wallet holders at Peoria on June 23rd. So this was the healthcare episode that we did this morning. That was great. This was great. Elon says the S in ESG stands for satanic, and he's starting to really speak out about how it impacts our food, our fuel, money, and even our freedom of speech. And this was a documentary in the Shadow State on Epoch Times, so you guys can check that out as well. This was pretty devastating. Internationally, there's some news today. The exchange gas prices in Europe jumped by 30%. Also, Australia officially entered a recession. And there was a big earthquake just north of New Zealand. They say it's not supposed to create a tsunami, and we'll be praying for everybody's safety with that. Some great news about Theta. Theta Video API is now enabled the billing dashboard, a new key feature, becoming fully fledged decentralized competitor to existing cloud service providers. First step towards monetization of the TVA service, which will allow edge nodes to earn T-Fuel for providing the streaming, encoding, transcoding, and storage services of TVA. So that was pretty exciting. Good stuff for Theta. That's future stuff. Biden laughs at people about him taking $10 million or $5 million for him and $5 million for them. If you guys didn't see part 3 of the U.S. Mint Silver Eagles conspiracy that Bix did, please go watch it. It's an interview with him and the head of Silver Eagle sales at the U.S. Mint, and that guy admits that they are breaking 3 different laws at the U.S. Mint. They're violating laws against America. So it's another one of, another part of the government that's weaponized against us as U.S. citizens. They're making money off of us again. So we should all be educated about it. I would recommend, I sent this to my state representatives and asked them to watch it and told them, I put the 3 things that Bix lists and told them who this guy is, that he admits that they are violating those laws. And I would recommend you guys do the same, because we can all speak up till we can't speak anymore. Uncle Cliff has a great Substack out. He's calling it out, and you see it. He tells you it's going to happen, and then, then you hear Joe Rogan talking about aliens and all that. So there's this Sound of Freedom. Jim Caviezel is starring in it with Mira Sorvino, and support for the children. So that's good stuff. Tim Ballard, that's his name, not Tim Draper. Sorry. Tim Ballard is the founder of Operation Underground Railroad, and that's the movie that's coming out July 4th. And hopefully that will wake a lot of people up, and I think that will bring us all together. And that goes hand in hand with Jenny Moonstone's readings or gut or information that silver would break at the same time that that the kids would be safe, and that the information about the kids would come out. So the children would come out. So try not to say kids. That was concerning. I don't even want to. I love this. I think this is so cute. So we'll share a little happiness, a little happy dad dance to happy birthday to Donald Trump. And this is just good stuff because we're Litecoin folks. So we're going to rub it in
70% of the crypto market is
Gary's face.
Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. Why did I name those 4? They're not securities. Over
Gary can't make up his
70% of
mind.
the crypto market is Bitcoin.
All right. And Johnny is dead on. They are weaponizing the U.S. financial system against us ever since the Patriot Act. And we'll have Johnny on next week to talk about some more healthy stuff. There's more proof about them spying on phone calls, text, emails, And let's see. This is from some book, I'm not sure, but yeah, Snowden told us years ago that they were spying on us, and most people think it doesn't matter, but it does matter. Our privacy matters, and we have a right to that. So there's a new wallet, and they're preparing for the halving. Remember that Westwood talked about typically in the last 2 cycles that 45 days before the halving, that's kind of when Litecoin would peak, and that would be coming up on the summer solstice, which is going into the weekend, next weekend, when we'll be at Westwood's in Peoria, Illinois. So that's just a week away. So, and you guys know how quickly these things can turn and run. So right now is a great time to take advantage of the markets being down. And so you can get to the crypto meetup in Peoria, Illinois, Friday, June 23rd at 3 p.m. We will be streaming the happy hour live stream. Clint Westwood, not this creepy old man, will be handing out some Litecoin. I've got some swag, some crypto swag I'm going to be handing out, or doing. We usually do some kind of like a raffle or something, and it's free admission, open to the public. Westwood and I are giving out hugs, and we're going to be at Peoria Pizza Works, 3291 North Prospect Road in Peoria Heights, Illinois. Be there, and we will be happy to see all of you guys. There was a little bit more. Let's see. That's the spying thing. These were the 11 journalists who decide what you can see online. I'm sorry. In the United States, Barbara Whitaker with Associated Press and Angie Holan from PolitiFact. Just want to call them out so that everybody knows who is controlling what you see, and all of that. That's the secret list of journalists pushing propaganda on behalf of the United States government that was revealed today. Let's see. CIA also admits that it knew about the Nord Stream attack. Like, they're admitting to all this now, but there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. Okay. So New Zealand fell into a recession. I'm sorry, not Australia. And they also had that earthquake off the coast north of them today. And then Australia had a cyber attack. And we've had a cyber attack for like the last 2 weeks. But I mean, mostly just violates our privacy, which our privacy is already violated. So I don't know that that's like a real big deal. I'm sure they'll use it as a reason to, crash the system or close the bank accounts, or I don't know what. This was something that the guys were talking about on World Blockchain Roundtable this morning, though. I'm not sure what's going on with this or if it'll really happen, but this rolled out this morning. A pro-Russian hacktivist group called Killnet, or some group, there's some anonymous group, Evil, announced that they're going to destroy the European banking system in the next 48 hours. So 3 hacker groups declared their intention to unleash a massive cyber onslaught in European banking system, threatening to bring it to its knees within 48 hours. So they say, you have not faced such issues yet. Not just a DOS attack. Games are over. No money, no weapons, no Kiev regime. I don't know how to say that. This formula will work, said the masked man in the video. The attack is already underway and is set to commence in the next 48 hours. So I guess they're comparing it to the one that we experienced for about the last 2 weeks that took out some of the healthcare, some schools, and some social media things that did rolling outages. And I'm sure violated all of our privacy and all of that, which we're kind of used to. Very concerning. The world has gone mad over money, accusing the European banking system of controlling the EU. No money, no problems. R.E. Bill is sufficiently familiar with Europe's financial infrastructure. Anonymous Sudan, who takes credit for the DOS attacks against Microsoft Azure portal earlier this month, also pledged their support for the cyber attack. They warned that European financial institutions are about to face the strongest cyber attack. So it looks like a bunch of several anonymous groups are getting together to do this together. So we'll see. There's been a lot of comms around Father's Day. And there is a new moon on Father's Day night. Juneteenth is the 19th, which is Monday. And remember that Juneteenth is about freeing all of us from slavery. So that would be appropriate if the financial system did go away. It would be very interesting. Yeah, and blame Russia, of course. Yeah. So you guys know what to do. Have your assets in your own possession and take care of your family and your friends. Make sure that if your dad's around, give him a big hug. I'm honored that I had a wonderful dad for the years that I did, from the time I was around 14 or so to my 50th. And I'm grateful for my dad. So if you guys get to see your dad this weekend, make sure you give him a big hug. And thanks for joining me in the live chat today, everybody. Any suggestions for where to stay in Peoria? There is if you like to gamble, there is a place called, Paradise, but it's like Pair of Dice or something like that a bunch of the guys stay at. That's right there, kind of like on the river. That's close to the Peoria Pizza Works. And that's kind of a cool place because they have like a river boat, because I guess the old laws were that you couldn't gamble on the land, but you could gamble on the boat. So it's kind of cool hearing the history too of, I love all that stuff, American history. And then we've stayed there's a place just north of there. I'll post a couple places in the Telegram group. And there's some Airbnbs and stuff too that are great. So you can check that out too. But it's good stuff. So yeah, you're right, Phil. I know we did when I did the interview with Reggie Middleton on the YouTube channel for the very DAO, we went through we walked down memory lane with Gensler, and he's like, he's teaching blockchain at MIT, and he's talking about, first he's somewhere at some other school, I think. Then he's talking about how wonderful blockchain is. Then he's at MIT, and he's like, if you create a company, you might have to, create a native token and give it to the powers that be, I think, or he says the bankers or something, and give them half of your company, because otherwise they don't want somebody disrupting the markets. And so you might have to kind of pay to play kind of thing. Then he goes into talking about how that, we need regulation. And then he goes into this latest rant of, it reminds me of back in the 20s, where it's full of Ponzi and hucksters. And, he'll say whatever somebody pays him to say. Obviously, he is just very inauthentic person, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. So let me see. What privacy? Yeah, I agree. Make sure see if there's any questions. I think we're good. Hey, Mama. And, oh, here. Yeah. Paradise. Thank you. St. Jerome Casino and a hotel in East Peoria. Yeah. And had to gamble on the moving boats. Yeah, then it docked. Yeah. So that might be the easiest way. Yeah. See everybody in Peoria. We're looking forward to that. And I hope everybody is doing well. And just have peace. I got a little tweet from Jesus the other day that told me I need to stay off my phone. So last week I stayed a whole day off my phone. But I'm back at it. So I'll be back tomorrow. Lots of hugs. Westwood's family needs some big hugs and prayers today. And he'll be back tomorrow to give us an update. So we'll see you guys all then. And thanks to everybody stopping by. Leave us a comment, please, because it helps the channel. And I'm so grateful for all of you. And give us a like. We'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. Oh, there's they have updated the McAfee documentary on Netflix. And they took out the yucky parts and they added a little bit more stuff towards the end. It's quite interesting. So if you're looking for something to watch, go watch a little McAfee. I'd love to have a little whacked kill switch pop off here this weekend too. Who knows? See you guys.
America's not the government, people. The America is you. It is the Grand fucking Canyon, the Rocky Mountains, the deserts of the Southwest, the Pacific fucking Ocean, the Atlantic fucking Ocean. It is the grandest continent. And what the fuck have you people done? You have turned yourself into sheep, every goddamn one of you.